So as I'm sitting here and, aware that, wow, there's been a lot of times when I've been going into flight energy and didn't fully recognize it or realize it. I feel like my body, my being, my energy field, which are all completely interconnected, I just feel like I'm able to sit here and take up more space. Like, not necessarily take up more space, like getting into anybody else's energy field, but take up more space in my own presence. And it actually feels really good. Like my breath is moving deeper through my chest and through my belly, and my vagus system feels relaxed, and I feel comfortable, and I can feel the breeze passing by on my skin. Bella's standing here right next to me, just hanging out and taking up space, being in her own space. And what I'm really recognizing through this process is that so often we're looking at the animal, we're looking at their response to us, we're looking at what they're doing, how they're behaving in response or reaction to us. And yet so often we start in terms of behavior training with the animal. We don't start with us. And just like any animal I work with, the first thing I'm going to do is check their body. What I realize about this process, and I've realized for a long time since Cisco shared it with me, I've got to check in with my own body first. Like, where am I in space and time? What's happening within me? I had a fascinating experience with Chris Nichols, who's amazing. She's a resiliency coach, and she teaches resiliency with horses, amongst many things. But she invited me to her ranch to conduct a workshop about the bodywork, and how much body misalignment affects behaviors. And then also seeing, what was going on with the humans. And the day after our event, she did a session with me and her horse Apollo. And it was fascinating because I felt grounded. I felt relaxed. I had no issue being in there with Apollo. I had no expectations. But Apollo's behaviors with me and how he was running around, he started like galloping around the arena. It was mind-blowing to me because I was like, that's on the surface. That is not how I feel like I am feeling. But now that I'm discovering this freeze place, it's telling to me, and this was like last year, but it's fascinatingly telling to me because that is not what I was experiencing. At least that's not what I was aware that I was experiencing inside. So working with the animals, it's really, really, really important. I say really, really important. I kind of meant really important, really important. I'll just say, I think it's really important that we recognize, like, where's our energy? And not just in our head and what we think, but what's happening in our body that we might not be aware of. That could be triggering some of their behavior issues. Breathing is hugely important. We all do it. It doesn't matter what species you are, right? So there's a knowingness that the body has to breathe. And as simple as breathing sounds, there's places where our breath can get stuck. And when it gets stuck, we're not going to breathe as deeply. And we're going to actually be activating more of our sympathetic nervous system and be a little bit more in our fight-flight patterns. And when that happens, especially if you're working with a wild horse, that horse is going to be a bit more on guard. And they might not want to fully come into your space. But oftentimes we think it's them. We don't realize it could be us. So I want to give you a little exercise to do. Just take one hand on your chest and one hand on your belly. Obviously, not if you're driving. And I want you to take an inhale and just notice which aspect goes up first or rises first. Is it your chest or is it your belly? And if you're breathing more, if you notice that your shoulders go up first, that your chest rises first, you're probably operating from more of your sympathetic nervous system. So you're more in fight or flight and on guard. Now all I want you to do is, we're going to breathe in again, breathe in through our nose. But this time, you're going to breathe in through your nose and fill up your belly first. Let it expand forward. Then expand your ribs out, your middle back. And then just breathe in, let that air just gently float up into your chest. And as you exhale, your belly is going to go, you're going to breathe out through your nose. Your belly is going to go to your lower back. Your ribs are going to knit together and soften into your mid-back. And then your chest is going to soften into your shoulder blades. So, inhale through your nose, filling up your belly, your ribs, and your chest. And then exhale. Belly goes towards your low back. Ribs knit together. Chest softens and relaxes. Breathing in through your nose, filling up your belly, your ribs, and your chest. And then exhale. Belly goes to your low back. Ribs knit together. Chest softens and relaxes. And just let yourself continue to experience that breathing. See if, when you notice that you might be breathing into your chest, or you might be more up in your head, see if you are able to rebalance your breathing to this, and see if you're able to find this breath during your day, even if it's just a couple breaths, and let this become your default breathing. You'll find you're aware, you're relaxed very quickly, and it's almost like your perception, your sensing gets opened up more while being relaxed, right? You don't have to be on heightened awareness that, oh no, something's going to happen. But your awareness opens up that you can feel things maybe before they happen. And practice this breathing before you even get into a space with your horse or your dog or your cat. Because as you practice this and your system opens, your animals feel safer with you. You start to feel safer with you because your energy is not all balled up. It's relaxed, it's moving through your system. You feel much more grounded. And this is a beautiful space in which to enter the energy field with your horses. Because now you feel safe to them. And now you're also aware of what you are experiencing to be able to be aware of how you might be triggering what they're experiencing. So I always recommend this at the root of any relationship.